And welcome once again. I am a database guy. We're in the 14th video on presentation 7, which is forms. This video is going to be very interesting. Excuse me. We are going to be looking at another use of forms. I'm going to create a blank form. All right. And we're going to go into design view. All right. And let's just expand this a little bit more and a little bit more. Our concept here is we want to know what happens if we search through multiple controls and filter those controls out each time. So under form design, we're going to select the combo box. And the wizard's going to ask me if I want to get the values from another table or query. We're going to go next. And publisher is the one we're going to get. And we're just going to give the, oh, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, it is going to be this one here. And just a field publisher is enough, and the ID, by the way. Let's, hang on. There, that way, ID and then the publisher. And there's a reason why we need the publisher ID, because we're going to use that information specifically. So I'm going to hit next. We don't worry about sorting things out, but we'll sort by publisher, ascending. I mean, I don't usually, I set it in the query that I'm working with. And so you see all 4 publishers, and we're going to make this search publishers. All right, so here's what I normally do. So let's take a look. We're going to look at the control. Here. And it's a select query. Notice, it's a select query. And what it's saying here is select from table publishers, select table publishers field pub and table publishers, table publishers field PID and table publishers field pub from table pub. Order is by field pub. And I typically, you can use a select query if you want, or you can go into the query builder, the little ellipsis here, and you can save this as a query if you so choose. To do that, it's the same thing, because when I go into this, in my SQL view, I'm getting just that, right? These 2 fields from this table and order by that, right? I'm going to leave it as it is, okay? For now. Let me expand this out just a little bit more. I want to show you something else, another control, and the 2 differences between them. So you can see this. And we're going to get another control here called, let's see, the list box. And again, it's going to ask you the same thing. And you're going to go to publishers, 1, 2. Well, actually, in this case, well, okay. Let's do it the same way so we don't cause any confusion. And finish it. Now it's unbound, and I didn't put the name of the all right, publishers. Right. Let's open it up in form view for a minute. And you can see the difference between the 2 of them here, right? In this case here, I can select the publisher. Here, I can also select the publisher. Okay, so the difference between a list box and a combo. List box will show you everything and will always be open. Let's go back to our combo box. Let's see. We have no control source, so these are both going to be unbound, just so you know. Limit to list is yes, but limit to list is yes, by the way. I didn't mean to set it to no. Allow value, uh, allow value list edits, yes. All right, so let's see. Put mask. Oh, auto expand is yes, meaning when you hit it, it expands. Boom, and it opens up. That's what that means. So let's see what happens if we were to set this to no and come into here. No, it does expand. Okay. Um, my understanding on the auto expand is that you can begin typing in without having it expand. While we're on that subject, P, U, B, and now if I have 4, it'll take 4. This one here is a case of it could populate everything, right? So if I had different types of names here based on the typing in, it would select them. And in a combo, you can only select one object at a time. Let's see here. Right, and you see here my column count is 2. I'm hiding my IDs. All right. No column heads. This up to 16 rows, meaning you're going to have a scroll bar. Beyond there, you might have a scroll bar, which you should. But the maximum is 16 rows, and I can change that number if I want over here. It'd be a little crazy if I did. What else? Okay. And it's bound to 1, which means it's bound to the ID. The ID is the item we're actually selecting, even though we're selecting the publisher. All right, let's take a look at this one here. On the list box, there's one other little thing that's very unusual about it. Maybe here. There it is. Multi-select. I never do extended. I've done simple. I'm not sure about extended or what extended actually encompasses. You can look it up if you wish. But it's either simple or none. I think it's none. Our first was originally none. Tab stop is obviously there, and so on. Let's see what that does. Look at that. I can select as many as I want. Now, on a list box, and I've done this for clients, I've got a button that selects everything, or I bring it in to select nothing. If the client wants to select all of them, there's a button that they can hit and it'll select every item or to clear every item, and you select whatever items you want. So what I'm doing here is allowing the client to, let's say, select all employees in that box. You'll hit that button, and they will do that, or clear it and select none. But if you select none, I'm going to have a validation check to say, hey, you haven't selected an employee. In any event, list boxes are a little bit more complicated, and again require, as you can see, more real estate because they're always open. Well, let's delete our list box out of there. Cool. All right, let's create. We could copy this if we wanted to, and I don't want to because I want to go through it with you. And yeah, I do. And this time, I want to select from my publisher, all the books for a given publisher, table books. Next. And the ISBN. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Let's cancel out of this. We can't do this with a simple table query, a simple selection of a table. What we're going to do here, and I should have seen this one, and there's a label name. It's called this one label 5, and we'll change those in a moment. We go to data. We're going to go into our query builder. Now what we need to do here, table books is certain, we need that. Books authors, we need that as well. Okay. Title, year. We don't need to worry about the publisher. Active, we should say yes. And this ID. So active, we're going to say yes. It's an active book. It's got to be an active book. Let's take a look at how this is going to view itself under data sheet. All right. We don't need to see the active, by the way. We can unselect that so we don't see it, the show button. But we can have it make sure that that criteria is what we want. Okay, so we're going to save this as query S books, search books. All right. Yeah, we do. So we go back into here into our properties. There it is. And we're going to call this CBO books. And this one here, we're going to call this CBO pub. Again, we want to use the correct naming conventions. Hmm. Okay. And what we're going to do here is this will be LBL books. And this will be LBL pub. Okay, so now when we go to the control, you'll see the label name correctly now in there. Okay. Hold on a minute. There's just one other thing. Ah, yes. So, well, you know what? Let's go back to our query. And how many fields do we have here? All right, we really only need, we don't even need year. We can get rid of year. It's of no consequence. We're looking at books, so we're going to put this in here and this in here. Save it and go yes. We're bound to the ID, yay ID, the author ID. Column count is 3, 0, comma 1, comma 0. So we're going to see now. Oh boy. Yeah. And here's why that's happening. So it's happening because it's taking the number of books and it's multiplying it times the number of authors. So we're going to then come into here, and there's one other thing we must do. We must group them. Now let's take a look here first before we go into our form, and there we go. All of our books are there. Oh, I see. The author ID is what's replicating it. And the author ID changes. So, oh, we don't need to do this. Actually, you know what we need? We don't need books authors in this yet. So we don't even need to group it first of all. Um, let's get rid of books authors. And let's put ISBN, because ISBN appears in the author's ID. Now let's take a look at it, and we should be fine. And there we have it. Okay. So in other words, I'm going to use the ISBN, not the author ID, to pick up my list of authors. Okay. So how do I then, if I select Publisher 1, narrow down the search here? Okay. So let's go back to our query here. Now, what we know is each book has a publisher. We're going to have to put that in here as well. And let's close this for a minute because we then got to go into the properties of this. And let's see, we have 3. I think we should be fine because the last one we put up, yeah, we should be fine. Right, because if we go into our query here, right, so actually it's 4 of them. Well, we only have 3. We're not showing the active, so we're good. We're 0. We're not going to show the ISBN. We're going to have to show the title as 1 in length, and the publisher, we're not going to show that either. It's 0, but it'll be in there. Now, on the publisher side here, I'm going to right-click and we're going to go to Build. We're going to go to our database. We're going to go to our forms, our loaded forms. Right now it's Form 1. We haven't saved it yet. So why don't we, before we do anything, no, before we do anything, let's save the form. Call it Form Search. We're going to open that up again. And we're going to go into Design View, and we're going to come down here and to here to our query. And under this ID here, we want to set a criteria, which is and publisher. Now, the publisher value, okay, is what it's bound to, or it should be anyway. So it's bound to the ID of the publisher. That should match what we see here. Give us a criteria to populate it. So I'm going to try publisher 3. Then I'm going to come into here and go Shift F9. And now, let's see. I've got 2, 4, 6. Let's look at my books. Yeah, I'm not seeing it there, so let us shift F9 after we choose that. Let's see. No. All right, we're gonna have to write some code here because I don't think there's a way of doing this manually. So on the after update code, dot requery. All right, and that's what we should be able to do it with the Shift F9. Seem to be working. So, and let us take a look at. Oh, it didn't save it. Ooh, it didn't save it for some reason in the criteria. Let's go back and do that again. Maybe I didn't save it. Um, okay, that's probably why. We're going to take the code out because I don't want to. Let's check it to make sure it's in there. And that's why it wasn't, there it is. Okay, it wasn't seeing it. So we're going to remove the code while we're at it. I don't want to. Well, it didn't. Strangely, it didn't. Oh, that's CBO books. That's why. Okay. Let's get rid of this one here too. All right. So I'm into CBO books, not CBO. Oh, right. And there's a reason why. It's actually after you select the publisher, you're requerying the next one over. All right. Let's see if it'll work now. I think it should. Don't know why I didn't save it the first time. So I'm going to grab one publisher 2, come into here, or actually Shift F9. Let's see if it'll requery it. And there it is, the Raven. Beautiful. Um, and then let's try 3, Shift F9. And we get the 2 of those. And 4. Yeah. And finally 1. Wonderful. Okay, so you see what happens. So when I select a publisher, it filters out the books. Now, when I do this, what's going to happen is, as you saw in that piece of code, it's going to be a requery of the combo box below it. Okay, let's do one more. We're going to copy this time because we're going to need authors. We're going to need to change this in a certain way. Let's go here. We're going to name this, whoops, CBO authors. And our data here, we're going to take out this query. We don't want that there. We're going to go in. I'm going to create a query. We're going to bring in books authors and authors. And so what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the author. Well, actually, let's be careful here because we're going to use that criteria at some point. the ID from the author, and then of course the ISBN. And as you might have guessed, over here are criteria. We're going to do the same thing we did in a similar way with the books, but now we're going to go to the book selected, which is its ISBN. I'm going to say yes. We've got 3, so should be bound to 1. It is. This is a select query, by the way. I could make it a query if I wanted. I probably should. So let's save it as query S authors. Yeah. Okay. Good. Yes, we do want to save that, and here we're going to have LBL authors. Good. Okay. Actually, let us. Well, we can't actually look at this if the query for the author is because we don't have anything selected above it. So there's nothing there. And similarly, there's obviously from publisher 1. Let's do a shift F9 just to show you that I can get nothing here or nothing here, but I can get something here. So we're going to select publisher 3. We're going to shift F9. We're going to select Steppenwolf. We're going to shift F9. We're going to see. We get Hermann Hesse. So we do. And so as you can see here, this is really neat. Now this may seem like a lot to deal with. Um, and so when you do this with code, by the way, you are automating a process. And let me just see something here. You're automating a process by which I want to get these the right size. Okay. By which what will happen will be the user can select whatever they want. Now, as you did notice, I couldn't select something below until something above was selected. And so what you need to do is, as a developer, so for example, let's close this for a minute and open it back up. You need to do a couple of things. So for example, here I can't select anything because nothing above is selected. One of the things I have to do is when I'm going to select something, I have to clear out everything else. So if I choose Publisher 4, Shift F9 is I requery it. Then I get this one, and then I requery again with my Shift F9. And I pick Vern. All right, when I want to go select a different publisher, I have to clear everything below out. Because if I don't, let's see what happens. It actually cleared it out. You see what it did? Then the Raven comes up. Then I Shift F9 again. So what will happen is as you requery, it will clear what's below it. Okay. And that's going to be important. And so what you're seeing is the connection between 3 different combo boxes. I select a publisher. I filter out for the books within that publisher. I select an author. I filter out from that particular book the author. So let's see here. One. Um, Nicholas Nickleby. He must be in that one. Pit and the Pendulum. Let's see. Oh, I see. Let's see. Nicholas Nickleby. Shift F9. There it is. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I am going to run code to show you what it would look like for this example before I close this out. So when we do this, you go into the events, you go into the after update. When I make a change, this is what happens. And as you saw before, me.cbo.books.requery, right? And then we come in here. We also go into the after update event here. And we go me.authors, sorry, CBO authors. Requery. Now I'm only doing this for the purpose of, and by the way, the requery, as you see here, is a method. We're going to talk about that one in a moment. Well, not in a moment, but when we come later on in our videos on VBA. Okay, so we're going to open this up. When we open it, by the way, we're going to want to clear out everything and requery everything. That's one of the first things you want to do. So I'm going to go back to Publisher 1. Well, actually, it's going to tell me that. Publisher 2. Doesn't matter which one, 3 or even 4. Let's try 1. Now, Nicholas Nickleby selected. So I'm going to unselect everything from here. And so what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to first clear out what is ever in this here below and then requery it. So Publisher 1. I can go Text 1, and then I can go Agatha Christie. Now you see what happens here. So what I need to do here is, in this code, me dot. So if I'm selecting books, I'm going to have me.cbo authors equals this. And I'm going to have me.cbo books equal to that as well. I got to clear out both of those fields. When I select, no, I'm sorry, it's authors. I'm in the wrong one. I meant publishers. So I'm going to take both these and copy them because I'm going to need them. I only need to clear out. Actually, though, publisher, yes, I do need to have both of them. I take that back. Hold on a moment. So yeah, if I select a book, I should clear out whatever's in the book, and well, I don't have to do that. It should be just the authors because it should already be clear. Because what's going to happen is this: I'm going to have, when I select a publisher, I'm going to clear out the authors and the books, and I'm going to requery the books. I don't have to requery the authors because I'm not there yet. When I come to the books, I'm going to clear out the authors, requery the authors. So let's debug and compile, see, make sure no errors there, and let's come back in and see that it works flawlessly. You'll see this when we get into Visual Basic. Now I didn't, on open, I didn't clear everything out, which is what I should have done. All three should be clear on open. So you can see now I've cleared everything out. Let's try this one, and let's try Dickens. Now if I choose a different publisher, I've now cleared everything out. Now I come from the Raven, and I only probably have, well, we can go Hawthorne. Now if I go to Publisher 3, I'm clearing out again. I'll take the Scarlet Letter, Hawthorne, and 4. Let's try Moby Dick and Melville. So you can see how it works. Now, I need to have all three. When I open it, all three should be clear. Now, the reason why it wasn't clear is I was going from design view to form view, but I should clear them anyway as just in case, just as a fail-safe. So anyway, you just see now how you can select a publisher, filter out for only the books by that publisher, and filter out for only for the authors within that book. And then once you get this here, you might want to display information about all of Poe's books or something like that, or something that you need. And that's really how this works. So at this point right now, this is video number 14. I think we'll do one more video